Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about, something that's slightly frustrating for me because I've been a guy who for over a decade, I have preached that most supplements are worthless, but there are some that are worth taking. They're worthwhile. And unfortunately, what we are finding when we start looking at the data, and even some of these supplements are people I know who are medical doctors and coaches who are like, yeah, these are really the only ones worth taking. They do the lion's share. They're obviously for health, and they'll be like, fish oil, D3, creatine, right? All of these things. And I've even supported all that. Of course, I've said for a long time, protein powders are not supplements per se. Okay, they really are just food. They're just a source of protein. They're not particularly better or worse than, just eating normal whole foods or your protein, right? And I think that one's a fair point when you look at them from that perspective. They're not really a replacement for anything. They're just one of your food options. They're convenient. And it is a high bioavailable protein, usually, if it's something like whey. So when we get into all the other ones to where they start getting more expensive and oftentimes they're inferior to whey even in bioavailability, it starts to get silly. But here's the frustrating part. I've been reading newer studies and newer meta-analysis and then seeing what experts say who are not involved in the fitness industry. Okay? Because we're all biased. If we're involved in this industry, we're going to have a degree of bias. What do you guys think registered dietitians and researchers say whose job it is to write diets to help people fix medical conditions? Well, they're starting to say, it looks like a lot of these things are not even correlated with improved outcomes. It's like, what? Yeah. So take even the ones that I've always kind of believed in. Funny enough, I think things like melatonin still work because of sleep quality. But as far as a lot of these things, a lot of them are saying, yeah, the evidence for fish oil really isn't helpful. Okay, and all of our arguments are always, okay, but EPA and DHA, blah, 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 right? That's what we argue. And we've always tried to say, well, the body inefficiently converts ALA to these. So, it makes sense to supplement them if you're not eating fatty fish a couple times a week. Okay, well, we all make that claim because the evidence on the fatty fish and the omega-3s is really good. But here's what you're seeing the best experts saying, yeah, but you should just eat the foods. They're even standing here at this point saying, the fact that the supplement is EPA and DHA doesn't seem to be that important. You're still... Again, this is top researchers are saying the evidence would say that just eating some walnuts is still probably better. Now we come over to that point of, well, wait a minute, what about that EPA and DHA? And their points then are, yeah, but there's no evidence. Like, well, of course there's evidence. Then you start looking at the studies. There's not really much in the way of data showing these things reduce heart attacks, strokes, any of this stuff. So all these perceived cardiovascular benefits that we're looking at here, they're pointing out, but people who are taking the supplements doesn't seem to be a better demographic. They don't have lower rates. It's the people who eat fish. It's the people who eat walnuts. That's the people who are seeing the benefits. The people who are taking the supplement, by and large, are just not healthier. It's only people who are getting this stuff in food form. They're like, and when you split the data between those, it's very clear. The foods are vastly superior. Even the plant source omega-3s, like walnuts, appear to be healthier. They appear to have more benefits than the supplement. All right, we start talking about taking D3 and stuff like, we're still not really seeing, just like with calcium supplements. That was always a claim, well, a calcium supplement without D3 doesn't matter, blah, blah. We always say this, right? It's like we would say the same with a magnesium supplement without D3. Complete waste. That's always the argument. All right. we're not seeing a lot of the benefits. They're just not panning out in the data to be there. Even D3 might be overrated. All right. We know that creatine gives less muscle growth than we thought it did. I always thought I was a non-responder because I didn't get whatever these effects people claim, but then it's looking at the research. It turns out the newest measurements in research after all these decades is saying, yeah, creatine helps, but it's less effective than we thought it was. Like, it's dramatically less effective. Enough so that you need equipment to find the statistical difference, that if you can determine a difference when you take it, it was purely placebo. Because they used to claim there were studies 20 years ago telling us, oh, you're going to see X amount of performance and strength improvement on it, and this is going to happen. And I never saw any of it, ever, even with loading doses. So I just assumed I was a non-responder this whole time. Well, maybe it turns out that any benefits you get from it should be too small to actually notice. It's microscopic. It's there, but it's very little. It's literally something like an ounce or two of muscle in the first year. See the problem here? And we already know, all the experts have said for years, multivitamins are probably a waste, other than specific ones formulated for prenatal vitamins for pregnant women. There seems to be some benefits there. Okay, but check this out. It doesn't seem to be the whole prenatal that's the benefit. Even the newest data emerging on it is saying it looks like it's mainly just the folic acid. All right? Pregnant women need a lot more folic acid. It's hard to get it in your diet. That seems to be the real benefit of the neonatal vitamins. It's just the folic acid, because they don't eat enough broccoli and spinach, which we could get all of that from those. You just eat your green vegetables. So where are we left with all this? I don't know what the answer is, but it's getting to a point where supplements in general, as a research looks at it closer, unbiased independent research who are just looking for answers, not to sell you a product, is looking real bad for supplements across the board. Which means it is really just a scam industry. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.